my channel, Transdog Podcast. I'm your host, Leo, and thank you guys for coming and checking out my content, man. Stay tuned. By the end of the video, I'm going to give you guys instructions on how to win $100 worth of Mexican candy and beverages. So let's get to it, man. First video of the new year. I just been busy, man, taking care of my family, taking care of my kids, and chasing payment like Adele, you know. This video is going to be pretty much focused on some questions that I get asked from people that didn't necessarily know my life story, and now that they heard it through these YouTube videos that I've been making. And for those of you that are new, long story short, I was 16 years old along with two of my homies. We got caught up. I got sentenced to 12 years. I ended up doing 10 years, and out of those 10, I did 6 years in solitary confinement for numerous assaults throughout the state, you know, during this gang warfare that I was a part of. So one of the main questions that I get asked is how I function out here after doing all that time in solitary confinement. You know, because it's a rare thing for people that don't live that lifestyle, man, that do, but they haven't been to prison, to try to comprehend doing 6 years in a room for 24 hours a day, some days 23. And it's even harder to explain, because it's just it's a range of emotions, a range of feelings, a range of, you know, thoughts. And so, you know, a homeboy of mine asked me, he's like, hey man, how did you do it? You know, how did you do it? And how do you do it out here? And it's a complicated answer, and it's a complicated question, you know, because at the end of the day, I'm still trying to find answers. You know what I'm saying? I'm still I'm gonna be 37 this month, and it's still unbelievable to me that I actually went through that and I survived it. So I'm still searching for answers myself, and with this YouTube journey that I've been on with you guys, it's definitely been helping. But I'll try to answer that question here with you guys, and it's hopefully it can make things more understanding. But you know, when you're in prison and you're with a certain group, and there's some groups that are more lax than others, but there is some that are straight military, man, that, you know, every single member, every single person within that group is gonna abide by the rules, and one of those rules is being physically fit, or getting out there and working out every day. It doesn't matter if it's raining, no lie. If it's raining, snowing, it doesn't matter. We're out there, we're working out. Very few groups do that in prison. You know, one of the group that I was with, you know, they did that. So no matter what, no matter how much we didn't like it, we had to go do it. You know, nobody got a free ride. So during that time, man, you know, you become, when you're in there, you become really military minded, man. It's a discipline, and it's a dedication that you have to a cause that now, obviously, now that I've spoken on it, I obviously regret a lot of the things that I did, a lot of the things a lot of the situations that I put myself in. But in that moment, it's your whole life, man. It's a pride that you feel. It's something. It's like you could say, it's like when people, like football teams and stuff like that, or fraternities, stuff like that, fraternities, like a brotherhood. It's just like that, man. It's just more, it's like life and death, though, you know. So when you become so disciplined like that, man, and you're able to transfer that out here to the real world, like I did, or I'm trying my best to, man, you can do amazing things, man. And I feel like people that are in my shoes, or have been in my shoes, that just give up and don't keep trying, is because it just gets too hard. You know what I'm saying? It gets too hard, but because out here there's a lot of distractions. Out in there, it's like you got one purpose, and one purpose only. So it becomes very easy out here to forget the discipline, to forget the respect you have for yourself, the dedication. And that's one of the things, man, that I was able to do, and I thank God that I was able to, that the same dedication and commitment that I had to putting in work, to earning these stripes, to making these guys, these killers, these gangsters view me as one of them. I use that same dedication and determination towards my job, you know, because at least with my job, you know, I'm making money to put a roof over my head, my kid's head, you know, buy food, you know, have a nice car, or whatever the case may be, man. You know, I'm not really too materialistic and stuff, but you know what I'm saying? And in there, it's like I look back in my life, and it's like, what did I gain from all those years I was putting in work, all those years? And, you know, if you know my story, how it turned out, that's what I got in return. So I was able to, some way, somehow, and like I said, man, I'm not perfect, you know, like it's a battle for me every day. getting up and going to work and talking to people and being cordial with people when I'm not necessarily in the best of moods, or I'm going having this anxiety of making this next stop. It's just it's a lot to deal with sometimes, man. But if you can overcome that and just and use what you used to do, but in a positive manner, man, it's you will go far. Trust me, you will go far, because a lot of people didn't go through that experience of having to do that. It was mandatory. There was no no if, ands, or buts about it. And if you didn't want to work out, you'd get a warning. And if you did it again, then they just take you off mainline. And by that I mean they would send either one or two homies to get you out of that prison. They'd attack you, so they take you out of that prison. So when you use that, man, when you're able to do that, and it's not only the physical part of it, man, it's the mental part of it. Being in the hole, in isolation, you don't have choices like you do out here. So if a guard is in a bad mood and you're waiting to call your mom or somebody or your family members, that's the only thing that you got to look forward to. And a guard is just like, you didn't say you wanted yard, and that's it. Like, you're not getting out that day, man, and you can't do one thing about it. All you're gonna do is pace back and forth in that cage like a little monkey, and I did that for years. So it's not easy, man. It's not easy to try to balance that and try to, like me, I have this addiction to the street life. I have an addiction to and not necessarily like an addiction like to where, because I'm well aware of it, so I try my best to stay away from it. But I'm not gonna lie and say that it doesn't sometimes consume me, because I've lived my life. So much of my life was that, so it is hard, and that's why I say it's hard to explain, because somebody could be like, oh, but aren't you tired of it? Like, wouldn't you be tired of being in prison and doing all that time in the hole? Yeah, man, of course. It's just, like I said, there's a lot of distractions out here. So just one little distraction is like, boom, you totally forget about what you went through, and you just, especially when there's alcohol and drugs involved, it definitely messes with your mind, man. And like I said, I'm not perfect, so I had a big problem. I used to have a big problem, and I probably still do, man. That there's just some days where it doesn't even have to be a bad memory. It's like a good memory, and it's just and there I go, man. I'm going and getting that bottle, I'm going and getting that bottle, and I'm thinking, all right, I'll just have one or two drinks, man. I drink a whole bottle till I black out, and the whole time I'm not causing no ruckus. I'm not acting crazy or nothing like that. I just, I got my headphones in, and I'm just listening to music that's reminding me of all these emotions and all these things. And it's like, I think mentally, it's like I need to make myself hurt, I need to make myself feel that way in order for me to feel normal sometimes. I don't know. It's just that's what I think. But yeah, and it's so, like I said, like if you're living that lifestyle, man, and if you can somehow find a way to transfer that energy into something good, into something that's really going to be positive in your life, it works wonders, man. And I think, and I wasn't always like that, man. I used to be lazy. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to do nothing. I just didn't want to pursue anything in life. I was just like, hey, I'll just get by how I get by, But something changed in me. And ever since then, man, I just been looking towards this. I just been looking for this purpose, this meaning in my life. So that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about today, is that's why I try to be so humble, and I try to be, and a lot of guys give me shit because I'm very open, man, and I'm very caring. So I don't know if I see somebody struggling or something like that, my heart goes out to them. Like I don't know. It's just different for me. I guess because of all the shit I've been through in my life, that I wouldn't want nobody else to feel that way, And then I know that sometimes people will take advantage of that, but that's on them. That's their loss, not mine. If I'm gonna be a kind person, even if they take advantage of that, hey man, I know I did what my dad would have done, or what my dad taught me to do. So that was one of the things, is just that discipline, man, and that dedication. That's one of the things that has kept me in line. And obviously, man, it's fear of going back, fear of going back to prison. And and sometimes, like when it's against my best judgment, I go down to where I'm originally from, and I hang out with certain guys that I've grown close to, but they're gang members and stuff like that. But one thing that people got to understand is that they see me with my homeboys and stuff like that, and they're automatically thinking something negative, man. But they don't understand these conversations that I'm having with these guys, which they're a lot younger than me. Is I see myself in them, and I try my best to give them advice, and but I also understand that it takes time. You know, look how long it took for me to finally, so I don't try to push my ideas onto people or try to push. It's like I go down there, have a beer with them. Hey man, how's life going? And it carries on from there. You know, if they want to share certain things about their life with me, they will. And if they don't, that's okay too, as long as I know they're okay and they know I'm okay, and I go down and I touch base. And that's something that's important to me. You know, I think that I have enough a good rapport with them where they wouldn't put me in a situation, and you know, only time will tell. But I think that's something very important, that I make my presence known, I'm looking at these young men eye to eye, and sometimes they're going through some hard things, and they need to look at somebody in the eye and be like, you know, to let them know that it's real, that hey man, I'm here for you for real. And that's a lot, we don't do that a lot of the times, you know. It's very and even man, I used to be like, when I think about my life now, and I used to be very violent, man. Like when I was in prison, like out here, people wouldn't even ever believe that I had did what I did while I was incarcerated. But you know, all my stuff's on black and white. It's all documented. So, you know, people just couldn't believe it because of the way that I am. But that's also because it's like when I'm out there and I'm doing my rounds, when I'm working and I'm out there in different towns, man, I got my head down, I got my headphones on, I'm listening to music. Man, sometimes I'm asking myself all these questions, trying to figure out who I am, you know, trying to figure out, like, okay, is it this reason why I'm this way today and not like this tomorrow? You know, so it's very hard, and that's something that I tell these young men also, is like, those are things I wouldn't want them to deal with. So when they ask me how I did all that time in the hole and how I can function out here, it's like, bro, it's something that I took on to myself, that I'm always gonna have to battle, you know. And it's definitely mind-boggling sometimes, you know what I'm saying. But I try not to get down on myself. You know, I try to tell myself, you know, there's a lot of people that have reached out to me, and about my YouTube videos, or people that know me that didn't know about my life story, man, have been so kind to me and said so many encouraging words. People that I go to certain stores in the different towns that live different lives, and they're all telling me these things, man, of words of encouragement, and it means so much to me that, man, my life has completely turned around. You know, like I never thought that. It's because I used to be pessimistic all the time, man. I think about, oh man, I'm gonna die young. Nothing's ever as good as gonna happen for me. And then it's like, man, quit having so much pity on yourself, and you'll see how life will open up to you and how beautiful it really is. So yeah, man, that's one of the things that I can say, is that solitary confinement, is that if you can use it as a tool, like I did, you know. And but having, like, one thing it didn't teach me was patience. I'm horrible with patience. So, and it's one of those things that it's like, you know, you're pacing back and forth in your cell, man, waiting for that one phone call. And there's also another thing that I like to talk about, man, is don't be afraid to walk away from people. Don't be afraid to walk away from people that you know are that don't view you the same way you view them. You know, and the oldest saying, man, how it goes, misery loves company. And I can't tell you how many times that people have sat there and shaken my hand and treated me with respect and this and that, and then some way, somehow they feel a certain way one day and they get disrespectful with me, you know, say certain things that you know, especially about prison, man. One thing about me, I don't care about none of that stuff, man. I don't care that I do. Obviously I care about, it's like some people use that as a like trying to make themselves feel like big and bad. You know what I'm saying? There ain't nothing big and bad about that, man. Lost 10 years of my life that I'm never gonna gain back. I'm not crying about it. I don't blame nobody about it. I just, you know, I just laced up my boots, man, and got to live in life, you know. And I feel like people that can't do that hate on people that can. And it's like, look, man, I had a bad enough life, and I made it worse on my own by going to prison, and even made it even worse then from committing the acts that I was doing in prison. And I got myself out of it, you know, with the help of my family and my friends, you know what I'm saying? So as long as you got that base, that support system, man, it's definitely something that you can overcome, man. You know, but like I said, you have those people around you that disrespect you, that are only there to make themselves feel good, man, you need to cut them people off. And I know it's hard for some people that they rather, and that's how it is in prison, man. That's how it is in prison. A lot of these dudes are just together because they don't want to be alone. You know, they can't handle being alone. You know, and that's just what it is. They can't, and I was like that for a long time. That's why I know. That's why I can understand that. But you know, there comes a day when you're a grown man, you got to stand on your own 2 feet, man. And that's not, and I'm not talking about fighting. I'm not talking about being a rider, going on your stripes. I'm talking about being a man as far as, you know, getting up and going to work, getting yourself a home, getting yourself a whip, you know, things like that, man, and taking care of yourself, respecting yourself. But yeah, that was one of the major things is that, you know, is that the discipline and not letting yourself. It's okay to hurt, man. It's okay to let it out sometimes, you know, even if you got to do it. Like me personally, is I just go and look in the mirror. Just by me looking in the mirror, and I have all these things going through my mind, and it's like I have those self-talks, and it's like, all right, man, you know, you got this. I'm telling you that looking in the mirror and having that conversation with yourself, man, it's definitely really, really profound. So yeah, guys, I just wanted to touch down real quick to shoot this video out tomorrow. I'm going to do a follow-up video. I'm going to show you guys the products I'm going to be doing a giveaway on. And thank you guys, man, for sticking with me. And I hope you guys have a good one. I'm out.